TsubakiSwagg, and I'm coming to you with my review of Magi. Can't remember the episode number because there's so many things going through my head right now, but I will put it in this general area as always, of course. But, of course, this one picks up where the last one left off at. And pretty much, I'm not going to go into great detail about the episode. Well, I'm not going to go into great detail about what happens in the episode, but pretty much Aladdin is starting to realize that the Chancellor isn't necessarily as great as he seems, and he's pretty much showing his true colors now, that he's explaining why the Goi are being imprisoned, pretty much, well, not necessarily imprisoned, but placed down in that hole to generate Magi for everybody else above ground to live comfortably. And he's explaining like how magicians were being so mistreated back then, and they were pretty much being used as like military weapons, and their lives were just being lost in vain because of all of this, and because of the Goi's like greed and everything. So this is why the Chancellor wanted to make a magician's country, so that way this could be prevented, like magicians losing their lives for the sake of the Goi, whom he pretty much considered as livestock. And some of the magicians weren't taking too kindly to that, because some of them, of course, like their parents were Goi, or they had friends who were Goi, and they weren't taking too kindly to people that they care about being lumped in the same category as like cows and pigs and sheep and all that good stuff. So a lot of them weren't taking too kindly to it, but they did want to have a magician's country, because magicians still weren't really still aren't widely accepted within the world right now, and many people who are still in the infant stages of learning or understanding magic are pretty much consider their powers like creepy and everything. So even people's even magicians' parents and friends and everything really don't understand them, and they really are alone in this world, except for when they come together as magicians. So this is why he made the magician's country, and that's why he created that academy and everything, so that way magicians could learn more, not necessarily learn more about magic, but also learn more about themselves. And in that, Aladdin started to understand, he started to understand the Chancellor's real intentions, and he really just considers the Goi as being cattle, because Titus specifically did not agree with what the Chancellor was saying, and he talked about Marga, and the Chancellor pretty much said that the reason why Titus wanted to pretty much save her was because he had his own he wanted his own self-satisfaction for things that he has going on in his life, and it wasn't really about Margaret, but it was really about himself. And Titus kind of took heed to these words and kind of caught him off guard a little bit when he said this. So, but of course the Chancellor let him keep Margaret. Well, the Chancellor told Titus that he could bring Marga above ground, but what is he going to do about all the other little kids that live down there? Because there are other kids down there that are in the same situation that Marga is, and it wouldn't necessarily be fair for him to just take Marga and not even consider taking all the other kids. And what would that say about magicians? And that was like, it makes the magicians look bad in a way, and I guess the Chancellor wanted Titus to see that, because Titus is only taking Marga, and he's like, well, are you going to take care of all the other little kids that are down there that want to see the world too? But the Chancellor, of course, let him keep Marga, and he was like helping her grow up and all this stuff. And they finally, like, the Chancellor used magic of the High Council to pretty much not necessarily heal Marga, but prolong her life, so that way she wouldn't die, because we found out in the last episode that she only had about a year left to live. So the Chancellor gave him that, and Titus was very grateful. And while he was giving his daily reports to Lady Shahrazad, we find out that Titus, it sounds like Titus doesn't have very long to live. I mean, of course, I know what's going to happen because I do read the manga, but as far as the episode, it sounds like Titus doesn't have very long to live. And because of this, Lady Shahrazad told him that he can go ahead and come back now because he's done such a great job. But Titus pretty much doesn't want to leave because he doesn't want to leave Marga behind, but there's also things that he can't, like, are out of his control, and taking care of Marga, because Marga is looking forward to seeing him 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, but it looks like Titus doesn't have that long left. And in that, he went to the Chancellor crying, saying that he doesn't want to die yet. And that was pretty much the end of the episode. So this episode was pretty heart-wrenching, because I feel for Titus, because it looks like he doesn't have much longer that he can spend with Marga, even though he keeps promising her that he's going to be with her and he's going to wait for her to grow up and be able to pay him back for all the things that he's done for her. But it doesn't look like he's going to have that long, so it's very sad. But I'm looking forward to seeing the next episode animated. But for those of you who don't read the manga, I would love to hear what y'all think is going to happen. I would love to hear what y'all think, well, why Titus is saying he doesn't want to die yet. Like, what do you think is wrong? Or why do you think that the Chancellor is the way he is? Or what do you think he has planned in the future? But anyways, that is about it. So please, please, please remember to comment, rate, and subscribe. And as always, this is TsubakiSwagg saying adios.